Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Average Korean from South Korea. Baba. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Finally, I have some time to take a video even after work. Yes, finally. So, I'm not sure how many of you are interested in economy and interested in investing in stocks. But I'm a person who is very much interested in those two things, economy and investing in stocks. This is not the main topic of this video, but I just need to talk a little bit about it before getting into the main topic. Recently, semiconductor companies, or you can call it chip companies, are just red hot. The stock price of these companies is just skyrocketing through the roof, to the moon, to the Mars, every week. And let me just show you guys a graph over here. I'm gonna show you a graph of the 15 biggest companies in the world. Take a look at this. Now, this is a graph of the 15 biggest companies in the world. By the way, I don't know how to get rid of this advertisement over here. Just ignore it. Anyways, number 1 is Nvidia. Let's take a look at number 6 is TSMC. It's a semiconductor company in Taiwan, 6th biggest company in the world. And then we have Samsung, 10th biggest in the world. We have Micron here, and we have SK Hynix. This is also a South Korean company. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are semiconductor companies or chip companies. Now, as you can see, these 5 companies out of the biggest 15 companies in the world are semiconductor companies. And that already tells how hot these companies are recently, especially Samsung, Micron, and SK Hynix. The stock price of these 3 companies are skyrocketing every week. As you can see, Samsung and SK Hynix, these 2 are South Korean companies. I'm going to talk about these 2 companies today. Americans are saying, oh, the big techs are taking all the money from America. Really? Really? Because you are going to be surprised after seeing this graph that I'm about to show you right now. And before showing you the graph, let me just explain about this. Because there are people, I'm sure there are people who are not interested in these stuff. So I'm gonna explain what S&P 500 is. I'm gonna read it for you guys over here. The S&P 500, short for Standard & Poor's 500, is a stock market index that tracks the performance of 500 of the largest publicly traded companies in the United States. And now we have something like that in Korea, and that is called KOSPI. The KOSPI, Korea Composite Stock Price Index, is South Korea's primary stock market index, similar in role to what the S&P 500 is for the United States. Alright, now let's take a look at the graph. The chart on the left, the blue chart over here, shows the companies that make up the top 50% of the S&P 500. The biggest one is Nvidia, then they got Apple, Google, Microsoft. These 2 are the same company, by the way, Google. But they're just 2 different stocks, same company. We have something like that in Korea. This one, Samsung Electronics and Samsung Electronics preferred stock. I'm gonna explain about this in a minute. Anyway, they got Apple, Nvidia, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Broadcom, Meta, and so on. And as you can see, the top 22 stocks make up the top 50% of the S&P 500. Whereas here in Korea, The graph on the right, the green graph, shows the companies that make up the top 50% of the Kospi. The biggest company in Korea currently is Samsung, but it's divided into two stocks. So this one and this one is actually one company. So what is a preferred stock? Preferred stock is a stock that if you buy a preferred stock, you're gonna get a slightly higher dividend, but you're not gonna get your voting right, and there are some more stuff. Anyways, these two are the same company, Samsung Electronics, and we have SK Hynix here. As you can see, the top three stocks, it says here, but actually two stocks. The top two stocks make up the top 56% of the Kospi index. Wow, that is just speechless. Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix. I mean, half of Korea's income comes from these two companies. Like, basically, you can say that. Okay, now let's talk about the main topic today. Us Koreans, most Koreans love Samsung and SK Hynix, especially Samsung Electronics, because Samsung has brought so much wealth to this country, and it provides like high quality jobs to many people, tens of thousands of people, or maybe hundreds of thousands of people. And Samsung has been the biggest company in Korea for 25 years, I believe. It might be a little less or a little more. I believe about around 25 years. And by the way, no one knew about SK Hynix until about 2 years ago. That's because the main income for Samsung comes from semiconductors, but they also make appliances. So the reason why a lot of people know Samsung is because they make appliances, whereas SK Hynix, they only do semiconductors. So about a year ago, 2 years ago, no one knew about SK Hynix. Now everyone talks about SK Hynix. So us Koreans, we love these companies. They bring a lot of money to this country. That's how South Korea got rich. But what I am worried about, what my concern is that the concentration of money into a specific company will likely lead to a fiercer competition to get a job there. So we already know that the competition here in Korea is harsh to get to get a job in Samsung. Every single Korean parent's dream used to be make their children into a doctor or a lawyer or a Samsung employee. But now the trend has changed a little bit. I don't think lawyer is as popular as it used to be, but instead, SK Hynix employee is becoming more popular and popular. So it's Dr. Samsung employee or SK Hynix employee. And high school students study so hard 10 hours, 12 hours. I mean, 10 hours is nothing. At least 10 hours. And more every single day to go to a good university and eventually to become an employee in Samsung or in SK Hynix these days. There are just too many parents who push their children to the limit to become one of those three. And South Korea already has the highest suicide rate in the world, and there are a lot of students who commit suicide because of the stress they get from their parents, they get from the school, they get from the society. And it's gonna get harsher. That's my concern. And what's more interesting is that these people who work for Samsung or SK Hynix or doctors, they are really smart people. I know that they're way smarter than I am, way smarter than most people. But the thing is, they are people who work for a company, so they do what their boss tells them to do. But the real smart people, like people who are interested in changing the world, who are interested in like making AI robots, making new things, bringing new things to the world, like Elon Musk, kind of like Elon Musk. These people, the real smart people, they go to America or China. They don't work for Samsung, they don't work for SK Hynix. It's because these companies want people who listen to them. They don't want people who bring new ideas. It's like, hey boss, I have a good idea, blah 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 blah, and the boss goes, no, I'm the boss, you work for me, you do what I tell you to do. I don't care about your idea. It's kind of like that. So all the people with amazing ideas, all the scientists. That's why all the scientists, really, this is for real, all the scientists now fly to China or America. We're losing all the intelligent ones. You're losing all the scientists. The government of South Korea is not treating the scientists, amazing scientists, well, and I don't understand why. And we are already falling behind when it comes to AI, behind America and China, and the gap is, becoming larger and larger. Semiconductor is very important. I know that. We need semiconductors to make computers, to make TV maybe, to make cars these days, because cars are becoming really smart, and probably to make AI stuff as well. But the thing is, we need to make AI itself. That's gonna lead the world in the future. I mean, that's my belief. That's my belief. I might be wrong, but that's my belief. Anyways, that was my short video for today, everyone. I'm gonna end the video here today. Everyone, thank you for watching my video once again. See you next time. Bye bye.